Good morning, everybody. Sorry I missed you yesterday. I had an electrician in my house, and we were doing a bunch of stuff. I'm getting an electric Jeep, and so I need an electric car charger in my garage, and that required running a 220 line all the way up from my basement into the garage. and installing the charger for that. But then since they're doing that, I thought, why not put a heater in my garage too that runs on a 220 line? So we ran 2 of them, and they were a bit of a needy bunch. So I couldn't pull myself away and lock myself in here for a couple of hours to stream. But we are here today, and I'm so glad that we are, because I have a couple of cool things that I'd love to talk with you about. The first is, I want to say welcome to everybody. Select, Karthik, Kevin Evans is here, Zachman is here, Hawk 2000 is here. I talked on Tuesday briefly about an idea I have for an app. And it's going to take me a little while, and I don't think that I'm going to stream this because there's a lot of embarrassing exploration that I have to do as I go through it all. But I thought it would be amazing if I could do something like this. If I could take, I know it's baseball cards, so don't tune out. I promise this is an interesting technical thing. It's not baseball cards. So let's say I have this interesting card, right? This is kind of a cool one. It's got a reflective background, whatever. So I have this cool card, right? And I want to know what card it is, what set it's from, maybe the card number. I know the card number is on the back, but it would still be cool to be able to have an application tell me that by looking at the front. But most importantly, I want to know what it's worth. And I think this is a really cool concept for an application that involves computer vision. There's a number of pieces that go into this. And the first piece, which is what I started playing with yesterday, and I actually got to kind of work in parallel with our good friend Kevin Evans here, is I started building out a model that would lean on computer vision, but build a model that can identify the logos of all the teams. That's where I wanted to start. Because in addition to this, I also do some what they call case breaking. And with case breaking, you basically buy a bunch of cards in boxes, in packs, and you live on stream open all of the packs. And generally, you have people that had purchased each of the teams. This is called a team break. And so someone buys the Indians, someone buys the Mariners, somebody buys the White Sox, whatever it is. And any cards that come out of all the packs that you open, all of those cards belong to that person. So I actually end up paying for all of the cards through the bidding process that people go through to get the teams. And then I mail all those cards out to the people that won them. It would be really awesome for me to be able to have an application that ran during the stream so that as I show a card to the camera, it logs it and says, oh, that is a Pirates card. I'm going to log that and keep track of how many cards each person got or something like that. So there's a couple of pieces with this, but it all kind of comes down to computer vision. So the first piece that I'm really focused on is, can I feed a model one unique card that it's never seen before, and can it tell me what team that card belongs to? And there's some tricky ones because there are cards that have multiple players on them. They might even be on different teams. So there's some funkiness to this. And I just want to show you guys kind of what I learned yesterday, because I think this is kind of cool. I'll be writing a blog post eventually, but I did something cool yesterday, and I wanted to share it with all of you. So we're going to get right into it. So the first thing that I had to do was I had to come up with some data. And so I have in this assets folder, this is created for me as I go through this process, which I'll show you in a second. But you can see if I dig into these folders that I have, well, it's not going to let me do that because they're not public. But you can get the idea here that I have a bunch of images. This is card number 2, 24, 26, 28. I took the first 65 or so cards from the 2020 Topps deck, grabbed their images and threw them in here and did some training with it. So I have the images in an S3 bucket. So then I come over here. Let's go look at my projects. I have a project called Card Scanner, which is a pretty obvious name. Yeah, so Zachman, that's very possible. That may be something that we end up doing here. Good morning, Jan Blank. I don't know where my sound effects went. Oh, because I didn't start the chatbot. That's on me for not starting the chatbot. But it is starting now. And you guys didn't tell me that I'm not showing my screen either. You got to do that or I forget. So what I was going to show you is this S3 bucket. You can see I have all of these card names here. You guys are so polite to me. Anyway, so we have all of these cards. And then I came over to Amazon Recognition. And it should have worked that time.
Mom!
There There it is. There it is. There's Mom. So the hot dog app from Silicon Valley. Yeah, it's definitely like that.
Please, no, no,
there's Karthik's noise. So yeah, I think this is kind of fun though. So I'm going to come in and look at my card scanner project, and you can see that I'm going to crack into my model here. And in this model, you can see that these are all different tags that I've given the images that are in my collection. I'll show you how this all works in a second. But I have this huge list of teams. They're not all teams though. You can see I also have a tag called rookie card. I have a tag called league leaders. We'll look at those in a minute. And then we have a way to test and use that. So the first thing that I want to do, because it takes a second, is I'm going to take this bit of code right here, and I'm going to go into my terminal, and we're going to say, what? You're not going to let me do that? Am I going to have to put it? Oh, we're going to have to put it all in one line. Okay. Let's do that first then. So this, I guess it's not going to let me use the slashes. Thought it should, thought it would. And there we go. So let's see if we can take that here, do that. Unable to locate credentials. I thought I'd already done this. All right, we're going to have to go off screen for a second. I'm going to have to go get that. That's very annoying. I thought I'd already set that up on this machine. So what I'm doing now is basically setting up my AWS credentials so that I can access AWS from this machine. I thought I'd already done that when I did the Alexa stuff, but that's okay. We'll do it anyway. So what I'm doing right now is going into my access keys, stuff I can't show you on the screen, and we'll create a new one. And in the terminal, I want my access key ID. I'm pretty sure that's what I just grabbed. Yeah. So I'm entering that. I can't show this stuff on the screen. I apologize. And then we're going to take this here. And then I'm actually going to go yeah, see, that's the same problem I had on my Mac. So what I'm getting now is that it doesn't like the way that it seems the Ask CLI does this. So we're going to change this to just be this. Again, I'm working with secret stuff that you guys can't see, so sorry. That's probably going to break all of my Alexa stuff, but let's... I think we're good now. So let me clear out this terminal, and then we'll do it. Okay, we can go back to everything now, like this. All right, so I'm going to try this again. No. Take this. This is my command to start my model, basically. And this takes a little bit to spin up. So we can see the status is starting. And if I was building an application, you can see I'm just getting this nice little JSON response here that says starting. So this takes just a little bit. And we can see now if we come over to, I did the thing. Jeff, I'll have to delete that. So in here, this is what starts it. And if I go back out to, let's go to this. You can see that its status is now starting. Once it's started, we can pass cards in. And so while I'm waiting for that to happen, I'd like to get all of your help here. And that is, I need you to go pick out a baseball card for me that I can use. So the cards that I'm using are from 2020 Topps. I don't want to use those specifically. So if we look at like this card here, this is a 2020 Topps card. You can see they have kind of this angular modular feel, big logo down here in the corner. I don't want to use one of these. I want to use something else. And so I'm going to go find a different card. If you guys have something in mind, that's even better. But I thought I'd scroll through 2020 cards and let's find a baseball card. Has to be something that has logos on it, because one of the challenges we'll have is like there's a lot of unlicensed baseball cards out there. And if I see this listing here, like this is a Mike Trout card, but you can see they actually removed the Angels logo from his hat, as well as from his sleeves. They actually Photoshop that stuff out because they don't have permission to show those logos because it's actually unlicensed. So they're working with the Players Association, which means they can use the name and the city. But you'll notice in a lot of cards that aren't tops that they're not allowed to use the team name or any logos, which is crazy to me. So those won't work for us, and I'm actually not sure how I'm going to solve for that because they're specifically taking away any of the useful data that we would want. But let's find something else. In fact, I know a good one. I used this yesterday. Let's do 2020 Topps Fire. So why I like these, and this might be a good one. Max Scherzer here. We could do old school cards. The reason I'm staying away from old school cards right now, Zachman, is because logos change and uniforms change, and the training that I'm giving the system is to look for like that Nationals or that logo. And the Washington Nationals didn't even exist, I think, 15 years ago. So I wouldn't have any cards from them. But I also, thanks, Karthik, but I wouldn't even have some of the older teams that did exist, like the Montreal Expos, or a team that stopped existing in the early 90s. So I don't have any training data for that either. That's stuff that I would have to still add. So the reason I'm doing this with a modern card today is only because I have a very limited data set. But as that continues to grow and I add more data to my model, it would be very easy, Zachman, to be able to add old school cards too. So this is an interesting one because we don't have any color on this card. This is a fun thing to try. But I do have that Washington Nationals logo up there at the top, and then I have Nationals on his jersey. I'm hoping that's enough to actually recognize this. So let's take this image. I'm just going to save this locally to my machine. Save. And then let's see if our service has started yet. Still starting. Sometimes it can take a little bit. So the model is still starting, so we can't do anything yet. But what we can do is go into our S3 bucket. We can upload that individual card. So I'm going to come into, I have a folder called Test Baseball Cards, and we're going to add a new file that we just created or just downloaded from my downloads folder. And that's going to be, where did it go? This one right here. And so we'll make, what card was this? I don't remember what card it was. I guess I could look at it. Downloads. Somewhere downloads. It was Max Scherzer. Okay. So let's go here and choose that card. You'll also note I'm not taking any metadata. This is a picture from eBay. This doesn't give me any indication of what that card is. So we're not reading anything from the card file name or any metadata because that stuff doesn't exist on a random eBay listing image. So we'll upload our image here. Cool, my image is uploaded. I still need my model to start before we can do this. And it does take a little bit to spin up. And it also costs money while it's running. So this is another thing. If you guys want to get into this, be very, very conscious of how long you run this thing. I wouldn't recommend running it for any longer. Well, I have one more thing I can show you actually while we do this. So I'll come in here to this. This is my custom labeling tool. And so if you look at all the images I have, what I basically do is I go through each of the images and I highlight where I find interesting pieces of information. So for the example, this Mike Trout card, I have the Angels logo in the bottom left corner. There's an Angels logo on his sleeve. There's an Angels logo on his jersey. There's also one on his hat that I think I didn't get. So we could update that if we want. In fact, let's do that. I have to do start labeling, choose this card, draw some bounding boxes. That's great. I don't need your tutorial anymore. So they basically give me this zoom in on the card. So I can still see a little bit of that A. So I'm going to say Angels choose my label, and then I just basically draw a box like so. And I just drew it over that Angels logo. So let's say I'm done with that. You can now see that I have that other little green highlight that's sitting right here. But I have all of these cards that I've gone through and labeled these individual pieces. And you can see that I have 350 images, 270 of them are labeled. So I thought I'd do a couple of these while we wait for the thing to start. So I can take like 1, 2, I'll just take these 3 for now. The most you can take is 9 at a time. But I'll take those 3 and I'll hit draw bounding box. And this just basically takes me in. What I'm doing is also giving it training data on brands. So I do like a Topps logo right here. And then we're doing the Phillies. So I'm going to choose Phillies. We're going to just highlight that little logo there. And we'll take this Phillies jersey like that. I don't know if I'm doing this right, but it is interesting that it works. So I feel like I'm doing something that's okay. So I highlight all those. There's also their Phillies bell there. I'm trying to use anything that resembles the Phillies as data that we can use for this. So I have his hat, I have his shirt jersey, I have the sock, and I have the logo that's sitting here. Great. So then I can hit next, and I can just kind of loop through some photos. So we can do Topps here. And then this one's Detroit, so I can filter down my labels. We'll say I want Detroit on the hat. And I want Detroit. There's nothing on his jersey that's really remarkable. So we'll take this logo, of course. And then we have a rookie tag for that rookie logo. We'll take this rookie logo like this. There we go. And then I'll do one more. And then we have, again, the Topps logo. Got tons of training data on that, obviously, because, and this is Kansas City. Kansas City, there we go. And so we'll take a little bit of his hat here. And he's got one on his sleeve. That's always good. But I like sunlight and different angles, different folds, all that kind of stuff makes a big difference. I think I've got all the logos I want here. So I say I'm done. And you can see that now I have to save my changes. And these numbers will change right here. I'll have this down to 267. This will be down to 77. Or this is 273. This is 77. It also shows me a breakdown of how all of my tags shake out. I think it's really interesting that as I've gone through this, in the first 350 cards, or actually first 273 cards of this set, there's only one Texas Rangers player. So they must be very backloaded as all this works. Select a gang. Yes, I could create a face recognition system. The problem with that is then I have to know who all the faces are. And then I also have to know who each player is on each team. And the face doesn't tell me what team they're on because players get traded all the time. So the logo on the card is the thing that I really care about, or the jersey that they're wearing. Because that gives me an indication of what team they were currently on in that card. Just being able to do facial recognition isn't enough to tell me what year that was or what player that team was, or what team that player was on. So yes, I think there's value in being able to know who that person is. And there's some other things that we can use to be able to read the text right off these cards. You'll notice I'm not highlighting like their names or the actual names of the teams. All right, hopefully we're done. Starting is now still starting. Man, I would have started this earlier if I'd known that. It didn't take this long last time. So once the model is ready, we can actually run an image against it, but I have to wait for that to happen. So in the meantime, let's do a couple more cards. I'll just take these 6. Hopefully by the time we're done with those, we can have our model started. So that's Topps. And then this guy's from Colorado. So I'm going to take Colorado Rockies, put it right here on his hat. But I like this distorted stuff, right? I like when it's a little bit weird, like half of his sleeve. And the reason that I think this still works pretty well is if you thought about like a nature photo, if there was a deer sticking its head out from behind a tree or a bush or something, it would still very much know that it's a deer, even though it's only seeing part of that deer. And so my hope is the same kind of logic applies here as I build all this out. Showing a Colorado Rockies logo, even when I'm occluded part of it or some of it's behind his arm or whatever, I think is still beneficial because it lets it know that like, hey, we could just be seeing pieces of this. This is another good example where like that Dodgers on his chest, I'm getting a good chunk of it, but it's not the whole thing. So like we have a nice angle on his hat here. We have the sleeve Los Angeles. But the more training data I can give it, the better off I will be. That's Dodgers. This is certainly Dodgers, this logo. And then we need the rookie tag. For this very, as Kevin pointed out, the very consistent rookie card logo, which is very, very useful. So let's do another one and check on our status. Oh, it's running good. Okay, let's do one more card and then we'll I'll show you how this all works. Tops. This is the Cubs. So we'll take this and we'll do that. And this sleeve, like that logo. And I want the bottom half of that. And I want this big logo. And oh, another rookie. Rook. Haha. Thank you. I was actually thinking, man, normally I have a Twitch window open. Why don't I have a Twitch window open today? The answer to that question is because I haven't had Major Lift remind me to change my category. Science. Technology done. Fixed. Thank you, Major Lift. Much appreciated. All right, back to this. I have my rookie card tag, and we're going to take that like so. Great. And we'll just say done for now. Save those 3 more. And let's go play with our actual model, which looks like this. So I have this running model. We have all of these different tags. And what I wanted to do was feed in an individual card that has never been seen before and use that. So we're going to take this analyze image code and we'll crank this down here a little bit. So with this one, we're going to take, actually, let's do this first. This is going to be, what did I call that bucket? Test-baseball-cards, okay. Test baseball cards. And the path to my image is the name of the image that we just created, which is whatever this is. I don't actually know what all those, I guess that's an L and a 1, but rather than screw it up, I'm just going to take copy and paste and we'll give that the path to my image. So that's the path inside my bucket. And then we'll take this region and we'll take this and take that whole line and we'll run this and check this out. This is hopefully going to work. Hopefully it should tell me that this player is from the Washington Nationals. That's what I'm going for. Unknown options. What did I do wrong? Do you not like my dashes? I ran this earlier and it worked just fine. Use card scanner. Here's my image in this bucket. It really doesn't like that. What did I do wrong? Unknown options. The image. Am I missing something here? You'd be very surprised, Major Lift. I actually do not get free anything. The only thing that I can recommend to you, to all of you, is that there's an Alexa AWS credits program that will give you $100 a month to run whatever you want on AWS. But you have to have published an Alexa skill in order to be eligible. But you can find that just by searching for it. I am in that program, but that doesn't make me any more special than any of you. But no, I do not get unlimited free usage on AWS. That would be amazing. but not true, not even slightly true. I don't understand what I might be doing wrong here. Did I get rid of all the slashes? I think I did. Could I bring this back? I mean, is there a quotation mark I screwed up? I can't figure out what this might be. Let's see. First open quote is right here. Then we have a closing quote here. Then image, I have a single quote, and then a double quote, 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 single quote. I don't know, man. I don't know why this isn't accepting my value. See, unknown options. Now it's lumped all of this together. What if I don't know what the issue could be here, really. Okay, let's try just getting. What happens if, I mean, I probably have to provide it as a string, but what happens if I get rid of those? Expecting property name enclosed in double quotes. We're getting closer here. I don't think I can do this. What if I make all of these single quotes? This is not an issue I ran into on my Mac. I wonder if it's just a PC thing or what. So it's expecting property name enclosed in double quotes. What if I just get rid of the quotes altogether? Because I could do that, but do the property names have to be? Shouldn't have to be. Image. Expecting property name enclosed in double quotes. So it really wants these individual property names in double quotes. Oh wait, this works. Expecting property name. What else can I do here? This was so cool yesterday when I did it, and I just wanted to share it with all of you, and now we're in a battle. Expecting. Let's just start over. Let's just take this. I don't understand. I don't understand why that's happening. If we look at what we just ran here, we're taking exactly what they give us. Unknown options. Well, I guess I'm not going to demonstrate this today. That is stupid. That I'm taking the sample code directly from this console, and it's not working. Let's take the stop command. I don't really want to run the stop command because then it'll take us another 15 minutes to spin it back up, but at least get it ready. This is when I find out I can't even stop it. just don't know. I don't know what else I can change about this. I'm using exactly what they've recommended. Single quotes, double quotes. I got nothing. All right, fine. I give up. We'll go do some Alexa stuff. I wanted to show you guys a cool thing. So what it should do is it should bring back to me basically just a JSON response. There we go. That one ran through. So it's just something about that image path that it really doesn't like here. I just don't know. Okay, well, we're stopping our service. Yeah, Robert, I'm with you. I don't know why it's not working, but that's how it goes when you try to do live demos sometimes. Anyway, let's close this down. Don't save. We will get into what I wanted to do today, which is pretty simple. Ooh, Gold Zulu's here. Yeah, but in this sample, it's not escaping anything. I mean, this is how it wants me to use it. These are just line continuations, which also Windows doesn't understand. Well, it's too late. I stopped the service. So maybe we can try this again tomorrow. I'm actually interviewing a friend of mine. His name's Doug DeVitre tomorrow. And he's going to be here joining us for an interview tomorrow morning. But maybe after he's done, if we have some time, we can give this another run. I will definitely try this again, because I would love to show this. But basically what should happen is it should be able to recognize what is on that card. It should say, oh, that's Washington Nationals. And it should also give me the coordinates to be able to draw a box around where it found that logo, which is pretty cool. Anyway, we will try another day. For now, we will do a thing. So let me come in here to our Airtable. And let's talk about categories, because this is something that I've realized is going to be needed sooner than later. We have this nice list of categories here: art and stage, business, world, design. And there's going to be many situations in which the user says, give me, I don't know what a good example of this is, beverage category questions or something like that. And I'm not going to have, I ran all of my testing, all of my development on this so far. Kevin Evans has also been on my Mac, and I had no issue at all. It was so surprisingly cool and easy. So there's certainly something I have to do, and that's also feedback I can give back to the AWS team. Like, hey guys, people also use Windows sometimes. But nevertheless, we have these 20 categories, and there's going to be times where the user doesn't know what the categories are. So the brute force approach to this is just to, when they say, what are the categories, for me to just read this list to them. I don't think I can actually do that. So I think what I want to do instead is give them like 5. And then if they want to hear the full list, they can say something like, give me the full list. Like, give them some way to choose to hear the whole list rather than just hearing the whole list every single time, which I think would be very, very painful. So we have our category table here. We have the names of the categories. So what I really need to do is start by building an interface to do this. So we have answer intent, question intent, specific question intent. Let's do a new one called category list intent. And what this is going to say is, what are the categories? This doesn't have any slots because we don't know what the user is going to say. So what are the categories? Give me a list of categories. Which categories? Which categories do you have? what categories do you have? Tell me the categories. I'm going to get rid of this give me a list because I think the list is like, that's going to be what I use for the full one. So what are the categories? What categories do you have? This is a good start. Okay, so let's save and build our model for this. And then once we've done that, and once that's built, we can go jump into some code right now to handle that request, and then we can worry about like how it's all going to work. So we'll start down here at the very bottom with index. And the first thing that we need is, what did I call this? Category list intent. That's not accurate. We're going to call it category intent. Is that, I don't really want to do that. We're going to do, I guess we'll have a category list intent and a full category list intent or category full list. Yeah, that'll probably be what I have to do. In fact, let's build that other intent right now, just so we have it. Category full list intent. And this one is going to have, give me a list of categories. What is the list of categories? List the categories. What are, no, I don't want to say, yeah, what are all of the categories? Give me the full list. List all of the categories. So we'll save and build that too. Okay, so now we have both of those intent. We have category list and category full list, which are two different things depending on what the user said. So we can come up here to like C-ish, take cancel, and do category list intent handler. It's going to be our category list intent, and then this goes here like this. And we also need to take our handler and register it down here at the bottom. So category list, that looks good. Okay. We have our category list intent handler. Now we need to create the files that actually handle that. So we need to go to handlers, just here somewhere. We can add this first. We're going to have const category intent. Why am I going so slow? Category list intent. It's not working today, I think. We have that piece built. Now we actually need to create the category list intent. This is a great starter kit. Sure. No, let's use stop. This is good. Okay. File, save as. And we're going to make this category list intent. .js. This becomes not that, and that. And then this doesn't do anything yet. And we can say const speak output. This is the category. Great. So I have the basic plumbing rigging all set up for having a category list intent. We'll have to do some work here to get the list of categories and whatever. We'll do that in a second. But we should be able to like hit the intent now and actually hear it work. So let's go to test. And oh, wow, we got to start our code. Let's fire that up too. It started. That's always a good sign. And then we'll say start Jeff's trivia game. Where's my audio? I had it muted. Okay. So just make sure everything's working. Give me a science question. That should just do the thing.
Here is a question from the science category.
Cool.
Which Greek physician is known as the father of medicine?
What are the categories?
This is the category list intent.
Awesome. So we've set up the voice model, at least a simple version of it, that allows the user to say, hey, I want to hit the category list. So the user speaks to my skill. They say something like some of the examples we built a moment ago, something like category list. Which categories do you have? Or tell me the categories or which categories or whatever. And that fires into our code. We generated this speech. I mean, we'll make this more complicated here in a second, but this is what we return back to the user. And then we say, prompt, we'll need some of that, speak output. Okay. Now what we need to do is find something interesting here. So what I want to do is, this is never going to be a overwhelmingly large list of categories. So what I think I'm just going to do is create a function that gets me the entire category list. So we'll call this const category list. And we're going to say get category list is our function. And then inside there, I don't really know how locale or any of that stuff would really matter. I suppose I would need translations of these things. So probably still need the locale. But I don't need a type of anything. I'm getting the whole list. So this is called get category list. We're going to pass in a locale. Now that adds a little nudge to my data because my categories don't currently have a locale. Questions do. I almost feel like I'm not going to pass in a locale, but what I'll have to have is translations. So I might have another column here eventually that's like name underscore JP. And this will have to be the Japanese name, and then we'll pull out the appropriate property as we need it. I don't need this now, but I think that's probably what I'll do is just add translations. Because otherwise, I've got to add each question to a different category every single time that I add a new language. And that's just going to get messy. We have locales on locales on locales. I think it's going to get messy. So I'll just add some translations to this to handle that kind of stuff. Okay, so we have our category list here. So the next thing we need to do is get this list. So let's look at getting a category list and what that really means. So if we look at our data function, we could do get, let's see, get random speech. I guess that's okay. We'll use this as our model, save as. Get category list. Okay, first things first, get category list. Take that and this, and in our index, get, well, it gets to be first, at least for now. Get category list. Okay, so that is there. Too many files open now. Get category list looks like this. So we're calling out to the API. We have our database. We have our API key. And I don't even really care about a filter by formula because we're not eliminating anything. So I think we can just chop all this off. Like so. This is going to be category. But otherwise, all I want is all of the data from the category table. Eventually, I will probably add Citario. Oh, Salt and Burnham's here. Citarioit. Do I do C++? I haven't written C++ in quite a while. but I have written C++. I don't love it, but I certainly have done it. I've also written a ton of C#, but I tend to live in JavaScript these days. So yeah, that's what's up with that. So what we're going to do here is, instead of all of this, we're just going to return r.records because we want all of them. Normally what we do is we just randomly choose one and return it, but we want to return all of them, and then we'll do some stuff to randomly pick 5 of them or something like that. All right, so this is our get category list. We'll use this thing for both of the intents because it gets us all of the data that we want. And I think we're done with this piece. That's the get category list, which is great. So now when we come back to the category list intent, we want to say get category list. We don't need to pass a locale because we already discussed. So category list is now a thing. So what we should do here is, I guess we could just randomly pick 5 categories. The problem with randomly picking is that we also need to make sure we don't have duplicates. But I think that there's a way we can do that just by knocking elements out of the array. Chris set up his Alexa yesterday. Now it's time to learn how to write the skills to pay the bills. Yes, sir. Well, again, I think I mentioned this when we first talked about this, but go to blueprints.amazon.com. Highly recommend checking that out. It's a good place to like.
Are you following me?
Oh, awesome! Thank you for the follow, CHGGSE. Thank you for the follow.
Are you following me?
Another follow from Sir Ed's PR. My goodness. Thank you guys. Super nice. Oh, I'm calling you Cheese now. Welcome, Cheese. Thank you for being here. We're here almost every day, writing code, building stuff for Alexa and voice and chatbots and whatever. We were doing some computer vision stuff a little bit earlier this morning until it crashed and burned. So yeah, welcome. Glad you're here, and hopefully we'll see you here again. In the meantime, Chris had an idea for a stream. Let's talk about that. I have another stream right after this, actually. I'm going to be over on the Alexa channel at noon today. I'm going to be interviewing one of our Alexa champions on my show, Alexa and Friends. And so that happens over there at noon today. So yeah, Chris, I will definitely hit you up. But yeah, blueprints.amazon.com is a cool place to kind of build some customized things for yourself for your Alexa devices. So make sure you check that out. Okay, so I have my category list. What we need here is, I basically want a simple for loop, right? Let I equal 0. I is less than 5. I plus plus. You ask if I write C++. That little habit right there, using I as my variable, comes from there, man. It's just one of those habits you never let go. My daughter's learning Java right now, and she's working on some like nested loops and stuff like that. And for her, she's using ABC, which makes total logical sense. But it's been broken into me for 2.5 decades that when you do loops like this, even when you nest them, you go I, and then you go J, and then you go K. I don't know why, but I is the thing that I've always used as my variable here. So let I equal 0. So we're going to go through this 5 times. And what we're going to do, oh, this can't be a const now. We're going to have to let it. So what we're going to do is we want to be able to pull an individual item out. So what we need to do is get a random number, and I have a value for that. So we'll do const position equals helper get random. I actually wanted to get a random number. Did I not expose that in the helper? Let's see. Helper dot get random item, but get random is sitting here. That's, I mean, I could just, I guess I could just take this into its own function. I really like having a very simplified process for this. How do I want to do this? The right answer is for me to break this out. So let's just do it. So we're going to take this function. We're going to create a new helper file called getRandom. That's going to go here. That's great. That's standalone. We just need to export. .exports. Let's getRandom. The index file need to getRandom. And we're almost there. That's there. And then getRandomItem now needs access to getRandom. So we need const getRandom equals require getRandom. Okay. So now we can do this. Helper.getRandom, and I want it from 0 to category list.length. Why I'm blanking on this is the problem with working in Java with my daughter. JavaScript array length. They put parentheses, and I think we don't. In JavaScript, it's just clothing.length. In Java, it's clothing.length, but you put like you treat it like a function, not a property. So I was confusing myself because I was just helping with some Java yesterday. Okay, so const position. So now I have a random number that I want to use. So we should also have some other array that we want to use. No, we could just do a string. We could just do let speak output equal. Here are a couple, we'll have to pull this out of the database eventually, of categories to try. I'd recommend. And then we're gonna put the list of categories after that, and then we can say here speak output plus equals category would you like to try? And then in here we can do, and this is kind of fun, we can do speak output plus equals, and whatever our category name was. So in this case, it's going to be category list. No. Category list position. Then we also need a nice comma in there. That gives us our speak output. But then we also want to do a, and I got to remember how to do this. This is not something I do very often with arrays. Remove an element from an array JavaScript. Perfect. I probably looked this up before. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Splice. I thought I could do like, oh, I see. This, the second parameter of splice is the number of elements to remove. Modifies the array in place and returns a new array containing the elements that have been removed. Okay. So it seems like I can just use array.splice, and that will solve my problem. And the index is the index that I just drew. So basically I want to rip that out of the array so that I don't choose the same thing twice. That's what I'm trying to do. So what I should do now is category list dot splice. And in here, I want the start. That's going to be position. And I always want one element to go away. Is that how they showed the usage? Array.splice. Yeah, so I don't have to like array equals array.splice or anything. Okay, so that kicks it out of the array, but writes it to my string. We're going to loop through and get that 5 times, and then we're going to say, which category do you want to try? I feel like this will give me a list of random categories every time that I do it. What do you guys think? Is this actually going to work? Who really knows? What are the categories? Oh, I closed the skill. Never mind.
Categories is a form of the word This is TKO Trivia.
What are the categories?
Here are a couple of categories I'd recommend. Object, 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 object. Which category would you like to try?
That is perfect. Okay. So it's not actually this. It's dot fields dot something. Corey Haynes says I should pick object object. I like that. That's a good choice, Corey. Should be fields dot name. My apologies. Let's do it again. What are the categories? And now you're going to fail on me. Cannot read property fields of undefined. What are you talking about? Category list. Okay, let's take a look at what category list really looks like, because I kind of would expect that to work.
This is TKO Trivia.
What are the categories?
There was a problem with the requested skills response.
Really? I think that's from the earlier. Let's try this again.
Welcome to TKO Trivia. There was a problem with the requested skills response.
What is the problem? Will you please show me the error? I'm not seeing the error you're referring to. Unexpected character space. This usually happens when SSML is not well formed. What? Let's just leave it. I think that's the line that's got to be the culprit, but open my game.
This is TKO Trivia.
What are the trivia categories?
Here are a couple of categories I'd recommend. Which category would you like to try?
Okay, so that's working. It's just the reference to the name I want. So category list looks like this. Category 0 has fields. And inside fields, I have name. I think I just need to give it an opportunity to evaluate here. So what if we did this? And we say, give me the category list again.
Something is definitely very broken. If only I could fix
Why
it
does that
myself.
like that?
Sorry for the inconvenience. I've notified our developers.
Cannot read
Let's start
property
over.
fields
What
of
would you like to do
undefined.
now?
Position is a random number. Is position not a random number? Am I somehow maybe not getting the random value that I think I should be getting?
Here are a couple of categories I'd recommend. Language, history,
What?
United States, people, music. Which category would you like to try?
I did nothing. I changed nothing. It must be because it was hitting the last element of the array. So I think Corey might be right here. The category list length -1 is, in fact, the solution. It must have just randomly happened to hit 20, which would break it. That's a good catch, Corey. Thank you. I think that's almost certainly what it was, which is why it works sometimes. What are the categories?
There was a problem with the requested skills response.
Really? Where's all my logging? I don't understand how we have no logging. Oh, there we go. 18.10.5.13.0. And you didn't like 0 or what? Ah, I know. Haha, I found it. So Corey, yours was an issue, but that was not the only issue. I completely forgot about this. In my category names, I think we're just going to change the data. Alexa does not want
I
your...
think you asked about Nate Silver.
I know I didn't.
What would you like to know?
Alexa, stop. Alexa hates ampersands. And so...
Sorry, I didn't find a device named Heat.
Alexa, stop. Okay, so the issue was I was grabbing these values, and Alexa can't read ampersands. She hates them. So I just fixed that so that we're not sending her any ampersands. That's the issue. That's why it's saying malformed SSML. So
Welcome to
let's see if we
TKO
get it
Trivia.
now. What are the categories? Just work.
Here are a couple of categories I'd recommend. Music, politics, TV and radio, history, art, and stage. Which category would you like to try?
We got to add one more little thing to our loop to make the last one have an or before it. But otherwise, I think we're good. We should be able to get a new random set of categories every time we do this.
Here are a couple of categories I'd recommend. History, design, music, politics, film. Which category would you like to try?
Okay, so let's add a little bit of logic in here. Get rid of this line. Get rid of this line. So it's the ampersands that we're doing me in. If I is 4, like so. But now she should say or before the last one. Seems like that's how it should work.
Here are a couple of categories I'd recommend. Science, art, and stage, history, United States, or literature. Which category would you like to try?
That's great, but I hate how she's doing the ands. Can you hear the pause she's kind of taking? Science, art, and stage. I need art and stage. Art and stage. How do I'm not going to solve that right now, but how do I get her, how do I get Alexa to blow through that? I'm going to have to like really play with the prosody on that or something. I don't know. I don't know how I'm really going to think about handling that. It's 11:05. I have 20 minutes left. I have to end a little early today because I do have another Alexa and Friends episode over on the Alexa channel today. Speaking with one of our Alexa champions, Julie Daniel Davis. Looking forward to that today. No, Julie. Yeah, I think that's right. Julie Daniel Davis. Yeah. All right. So we have our category list working. The other piece that we could build with the little bit of time we have left is the full list, which doesn't feel like it should be alphabetical. What are your opinions on this? I have 20 categories. I'm giving you, I should also say here, let's fix this first. We should say something like, you always ask for the full list of categories if you want to hear all 20 of them. That lets the user know, they're like, hey, by the way, there's this other way you can do this. So category list intent, we're going to take this because it's almost identical, save as. And this is going to be category full list intent. And that requires a category full list intent here. Okay, it's a good start. And we also need something in our main index file. That isn't it. There we go. So we have category list. We also need category full list. We're going to treat these as completely separate entities that do different things. Okay, and then we need to take this down to the bottom. All right, so if we get back into category full list intent, the only difference here is that we're going to give it the whole list. So I'm curious for all of you and your opinions. There's 20 categories. This intent is specifically designed to give them all 20. So never mind the fact that this is going to be a little burdensome to hear all 20 every time, because that's the point of this intent. We have another one that handles their request when it's just like, what are the categories? I'm going to give them 5. And then I tell them like, hey, if you want to hear the whole list, you can ask for it. So they're specifically asking for all 20. So let's never mind the fact that they're going to hear all 20. Should I give them to them in the same order every time? Should I shuffle the list every time so that I'm randomly giving them all 20, but in a random order? What's the right approach here? The data-driven person, me, thinks I should just give them to them alphabetically every time. But I'd love to know what you guys think about this, because I'm just one person, and if we share our knowledge, we all get better. So looking for any opinions you guys may have about how we should approach this. Well, I can start on this anyway. So here, this is going to be, here is, I'll just say there are, no, I want to say are. TKO Trivia has 20 categories of questions. They are. And then I could just list them. Or I could go loopy style here. Instead of 1 to 5, we could do category list.length. Where did that go? Except that number will change. So it's always going to be 20. I is 1 to 20. We're going to go through this 20 times. I'm going to grab a random number based on the category list length. And we'll do all the same things. And then we can just say, which category would you like to try afterward? All right. I guess we'll just see how it works since nobody has any opinions. We'll just do it. Give me what is the full list of categories.
It appears our trivia questions are better than our programmers.
Cool.
Something just broke. I'm so sorry about that.
Cannot read property
You
ID
could
of
start a
undefined.
quiz or ask for a question.
In what?
What should I do?
What do you think I did? Oh, you think that's the answer intent? That's why. What are some actual utterances that I can use? If we look at our intents, category full list, we could say, what are all of the categories? Let's add some more. Give me the full what is the full list of categories? Give me the complete list of categories. Give me the complete list. Give me the full list. What is the full list? What is the complete list? Okay. And I can just say list the categories. That should work for now. So Frank says they would normally shuffle the list on session start. Here, let's do this. I think this is cool. We can do this. Boom. We would normally shuffle the list on session start. Present them as, do you want A, B, C, or more options? Then we save in a session variable where we are in the list. I think that's probably okay. That feels like more work than I want to do for this, because in a normal situation, I'm with you, Frank. I think that, like, if I was presenting them food options, something that was a much larger list, 100 things or whatever, I could see that being more of a problem, but I feel like it's less of an issue here. So I can say, what did I say I could say? List the categories.
TKO Trivia has 20 categories of questions. They are history, nature, art, and stage, business world, food and drink, music, literature, sports and games, tradition and beliefs, politics, TV and radio, miscellaneous, film, language, people, United States, technology, design, science, or geography. Which category would you like to try?
So I still have to think about how to handle those things like art and stage and food and drink, because it really is treating those as like it's putting a healthy pause in there, which I don't really want. Frank, you've got me thinking. I think it's more painful to them to piecemeal their way through it, like 3 at a time, 5 at a time. For this, they're looking for something very specific. So they can always just try and say a category. But if they want to hear the whole list, I want to give them that option because it is only 20 things. It's not obnoxious. That's kind of cool, though. It's randomized. That's kind of cool, I suppose. I'm building some stuff in my code that I don't like, though. I didn't like doing this or this. So we should also fix that for category list. Instead of 4, well, that's fine because I only want 5. So this is like these are hard-coded values on purpose. But for the category full list, these don't need to be hard-coded. So I need like category count. That's going to equal category list length. Then we can, now that we've saved that, now we can do this. Nope, I actually want the length there because that's going to shorten. But this here can be category count instead. This can be category count minus 1. Now, if I somehow add a 21st category or remove a category, this still works. Okay. That feels safer. So list the categories again.
TKO Trivia has 20 categories of questions. They are technology, science, people, politics, geography, food and drink, music, film, language, history, business world, nature, TV and radio, literature, design, art, and stage, United States, tradition, and beliefs, miscellaneous, or sports and games. Which category would you like to try?
I'm going to talk with my good friend Allison Atwell about this. I think she might have some perspective on how to fix this using some magical SSML or something that will get us where we want to be. But our intents are there. So I should be able to say now, like, art and stage.
Whoops. It looks like one of our programmers broke something. I will let them know and have them fix it as soon as possible.
It thinks that's a
In the
wrong
meantime,
answer.
You can always ask for a random question or start a new quiz, right?
Did I change something when we talk about question intent? Question intent doesn't have just the category name. Did we do that on purpose? Or is that just an omission? I don't know if that's on purpose or not. I feel like that should be there. Which category do you want? Art and stage. That would be the answer. I don't see a reason why I would exclude that. If I don't include it, all of these things are going to end up in my wrong answer pile, which I don't want either. Huh. Think. As soon as this is done building, we'll see if art and stage works. There we go. So let's try art and stage again.
Here is a question from the art and stage category. In what novel and play does Jean Valjean, a released prisoner who breaks parole to create a new life for himself, spend most of the story evading the grip of the persistent Inspector Javert?
Does anyone know the answer to that one? I mean, I guess it's on the screen.
Well done. That is the correct answer. What would you like to do now? You can start today's game or ask for a trivia question.
Okay. So we have the ability now to say category names. So I should just be able to say like sports. It should just give me a sports question.
Here is a question from the sports and games category. What rap song did the Chicago Bears record before their appearance in Super Bowl 20?
Does anyone know this one? I guess I keep showing you guys the answer, but the answer is the Super Bowl Shuffle.
Alrighty. That is the correct answer. You can say something like, give me a science question, or you can start today's game. What will it be?
Nice work, Screech Rat. I'll give you credit for that. Nice work. Okay, I only have a couple of minutes left. I don't want to get too deep into something. I'll lose track. I was thinking I could go to my answer intent. And in here, we have some things that we still need to do, like handling what to do when a wrong answer comes in, but we weren't asking a question. But there is, if we think about correct answer, there's some other data that I need for, this is my question instance. So I have correct answer. Let's break this out. Const question, no, yeah. What do we call it in the database? That's probably the right way to do this. The database calls it, if I look at a question, the answer note. This is when we have a note for the answer itself. So if we say answer note, this just equals question. Oh, equal. This question up here. I don't have any of the data for this question because it's in my session variables. Get random speech. That's correct answer. Speech correct. What do I actually save in the question instance stuff? Just the ID, huh? Current question ID. I almost need to either save this stuff and persist it across the session from when I ask you the question, or I need to go get it again. It feels better to persist it. So that's in the question intent. So in here, we have a bunch of stuff, but what we want to do is save current question answer note. Am I going to need anything else? Yeah, I probably will. I feel like it might not just hurt to tuck the whole question in there. That could potentially eliminate this. I won't eliminate it for now, but I could potentially eliminate it. But now I have this current question that's going to travel. So then in answer intent, I should be able to say, where was I working? Answer note is just going to equal session attributes current fields voice answer note. Now, the catch with this is that it doesn't always exist. So let's see. We say, "Yay, you got it right," and then we say, "Wahoo!" and then we say, "That was the correct answer." Is that when we would say this? That was the correct answer. He won South Carolina in 1954. Is that what we're saying? We're just saying like yay, correct answer? We can probably be better than that. SpeechCon correct. We say the Yahoos, correct answer. That is the correct answer. Maybe that's not what I want to say. I could say things like the correct answer was, and then actually say the answer. Wahoo, you got that right. How do I want to do this? Wahoo, you got that right. Let's change it to that. So if I change this to you got that one right as my correct answer, then in here we could say the answer was, this is going to be dot current question dot fields dot voice answer. And if we have a note, we'll add the note in there. We can just drop this right there, like so. Let's see what that does. See how much I broke. This only happened if I get the answer right, so we'll just start there. Give me a science question.
Here is a question from the science category. What substance do your ceruminous glands produce?
Earwax.
Hurrah! You got that one right. The answer was earwax. Undefined, what would you like to do now? You can start today's game or ask for a trivia question.
Okay, so it's putting the word undefined in there, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to play with this a little. So instead of voice answer will always be there. But this piece here needs a little more logic to make it work. So what we can do is say, if this thing then enter note so, and then this just needs to be a let. Okay, so I think that should at least get us what we want so that we're getting the appropriate answer. Give me a sports question this time. This will be our last one, then I got to go.
Here is a question from the sports and games category. What tennis player won 6 consecutive Wimbledon singles titles in the 1980s?
Martina Navratilova?
Yay! You got that one right. The answer was Martina Navratilova. You can say something like, give me a science question, or you can start today's game. What will it be?
Let's find, do I have a category that has more of these? Now I need an actual question that has the voice answer note. Let's find a category that's small. Like United States has about half of them. Let's try that. Give me a United States question.
Here is a question from the United States category. With over 10,000 posts and 1.3 million members, VFW is one of the largest organizations in the United States. What does VFW stand for?
So we'll come in here to our interface and we'll say Veterans of Foreign Wars, and it should give us a little extra info after it tells us the answer's right.
Righto! You got that one right. The answer was Veterans of Foreign Wars. It was begun in 1899 by veterans of the Spanish-American War. What should we do next? You can say give me a random question, or start today's game.
Okay, I need to tuck a period on there so she actually breaks her speech. But that's it. That's good. So that is great. We have our voice answer note working. Now, what's cool about this is we'll do it for the wrong answer also. So we can say these two. Because even if the answer is wrong, she's just going to sound sad about it, but then she's still going to say like, oh, the correct answer was actually this. So I should be able to do that. That gets my answer note. The answer was, and then we tell them why they're wrong. And then right here, this will just be answer note. Okay, let's see if that's all it takes to get a wrong answer to tell me the thing too. So we'll give me another United States question because those are about half and half on having an answer.
Here is a question from the United States category. What is the only borough of New York that is Here is a question from the United States category.
Okay, this one will work.
What state got its nickname because it has trees that drop a nut that looks like the eye of a male deer?
So the answer is Ohio, but we're going to say Michigan.
Aw, man! That answer is not correct. The answer was Ohio. Ohio is the Buckeye State. What should we do next?
All right, very happy with this. We're making good progress. I have to go because we've got things to do. I've got a stream to do over on the Alexa channel here in 27 minutes. So let's find somebody to go raid and give you guys something to do for 27 minutes. And then we'll be back. Looks like Code Rushed is rocking and rolling. So we'll start a raid and we'll send it over there. And I will see you guys in about a half an hour if you want to join me on the Alexa channel. So thank you guys all for tuning in. Thank you for the questions and the conversation and the engagement. Awesome stuff, guys. Thank you so much. Bye.